Welcome back to our Python class. Today our main subject will be external libraries, installing external libraries, and also with this subject also comes creation of virtual environments, meaning you want to isolate your external libraries across multiple projects. You don't want to have any conflict between different projects. But before we get started, let's do something about our Python interpreter. Right, you probably already have it working, but let's double check again. So on your terminal, if you open up your terminal, right, new terminal, right, you should be able to, in your project, you should do something like this. Actually, I have Python 3.9 here, right? You should probably have like 3.10, maybe something a little bit more, right? But what's interesting is for me, right, I have a Python 3.10.6 here, right? A different interpreter, right? It's not very uncommon actually to have multiple interpreters across on the same machine, right? Because it's just a small program. Python itself is not very big, right? Again, remember how to you can do Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P, and you check here which Python you're using. You can select if you have more than one actually here, right? And it shows you also where the Python lives, right? I have my Python 3.9, the oldest version it can find is in program files Python 3.9, but 3.10 is actually moved a different directory. It's in your home directory, your username, right? Update local programs Python 3, and this is the recommended one. That's what I have here. But I would also like to have it, to make life easy, to have it here as well when I type this Python version, right? How do I do it, and why do I actually have Python 3.9? So I will show you. It's here, system environment. We talked about this in earlier lectures, right? Again, on a Mac it will be very similar, and also on a Linux very similar idea. Every operating system has these so-called environment variables used for storing program information. And you go here, system variables, there's user variables. Also on there's system variables, and you go to path, right? You go to path here, and you edit, and you see different folders. Remember folders we discussed previously, right? Where programs look for files, right? Depending what kind of applications look for files, and you probably don't have as many as I have here, but you probably have something, right? I have some different programming languages here, different systems, and this is the cause of many issues on installation. If something is not found, right, this system environment variable probably is a cause. Not related to Python in general, right? Sometimes something doesn't work. It means probably you can't find something because this environment variable is not properly set during installation. So you see here I have Python 3.9, and I also have Python 3.9 scripts, which includes extra things needed to run Python. So these two folders are crucial for my command line to work, right? So basically I could replace it by hand or add it up top, right? A new of these new entries, which would include the Python 3.6 10.6. But what I'll do is instead I'll see to do it automatically. I think you already have this automatically. I'll go to Python org, and we have Python 3.10.7. It's a very, of course, really minor upgrade. I wouldn't ordinarily upgrade this, but let's do it. And it should do it automatically. It's September 6th, right? We already started, right? So some extra things, and let's download it, right? Download 3.6, and I'm installing very quickly. Remember, it's only 30 megabytes, and I'll run it, right? Right, so upgrade now. Actually, it will actually tell you, right? Yeah, upgrade now. So it is going to still use this. Again, notice how here I have users valvwd, that's my username on this computer. Here we see it, app data, and we have this curly line. You see this wiggly line? That means it's my username, my home directory, right? So my home directory is users val-wd, right? Of course, again, for you, you'll have your username, most likely your name, your first name probably, right? Something similar, right? Or your dog's name or your cat's name, right? So, and then you have app data. So, okay, I guess I'll keep it. I guess it won't really change anything. I'll do a tiny upgrade, right? But let's see if anything else happens. It should offer to add it to path, right? I think I skipped the adding to the path last time, right? It's installing upgrade. It shouldn't break anything, right? Famous last words. And hopefully, we'll have a brand new installation. I remember it asking to add to path, right? So you don't have to do it yourself, right? You just install it. So So that would be the easiest way instead of messing with the system environment. But again, it's not that complicated. But again, it's maybe it might be less easier if you just let the setup installer do it for you. Well, let's wait for a bit, right? Again, we are moving on to 64-bit, right? And should be pretty closely, right? And let's take a look. Pip is actually something we'll be using in this lecture, following lectures. Again, from now on, again for installing packages. And yes, our setup was successful. Unfortunately, I guess it was not really. It did not do anything about the path. But I think if you do a fresh installation, it does add to the path, right? So let me close it. Let me close it and let me start our Windows or Visual Studio Code again. Let's see what happens. Right, so you have to restart the Visual Studio Code. It should be 3.107, like hopefully. Let's take a look. It says 3.106 actually, interestingly enough. No, it upgraded, it's 10.7, okay? So it had some cache. Again, usually there's cache of whatever was happening before. Now it's 10.7. Okay, so that's great. Unfortunately, for me, I still have the old version, 3.9. So let me change that. And all I need to do is find where my Python lives. So I'll go to my home directory, right here, users, right? My name, app data. Where is my app data? App data, right? And I forget now already, so I'll just click on it. Local programs Python. So I'm not particularly a big fan of this place, but it's sort of a little bit hidden, a little bit more. But again, notice how Mozilla, Microsoft, many other JetBrains, many other big companies, Google hides its Chrome settings and some other things here, right? So it's Python is not alone in choosing this setting. It's a sort of local installation. So local programs Python. And where is Python? Python. Programs, a little bit deeper, Python, right? Python 3.10. So this is my path, right? So this is the full path. Also, I'll need script. So what I'll do is I'll copy this, right? Control C, right? Again, notice the backward slashes on Windows machines. If you are on a Mac or Linux, you'll have forward slashes in your Finder, right? So, okay, this is where the Python lives. And I want this Python to be the default Python. So I will install it here in my system environment. So I'll go to Windows, Environment, right? Edit your system environment variables. I'll go to Path here. And when I do this, now it's, let me see, System Environment. Yeah, System Environment. Otherwise, if I use regular environment, it would only offer me local user variables. These would be grayed out and I wouldn't be able to edit. So I had to do system environment. And I have pass and I'm going to edit. So what I can do is I'm going to override this. I'll do a new one. Right? So I'll do a new one and okay, where's my new one? I didn't do it. New. I'll copy paste, right? So this is it. Okay. All right, let's check again. Edit. It's here, right? So I need to move it up, right? Because it's before this. And actually, I could easily delete these, right? I'll move them up, right? So we'll check, right? Up before that, right? And also, I need to add one more, right? New one. I need to add this. Scripts, very important. Notice the black slash, right? Scripts. The uppercase doesn't matter. Scripts will be fine, right? I have this, and I'm also going to move it up. Now, yep, there we go. Okay. Right? Alright, that's great. But now, right, so added these path variables. And let's check. Do you think my Python will be updated? Well, it won't be because you see it's still the old one. Also the pip version also will be old one. 20.23, right? It's pretty old from Python 3.9. So let's restart our terminal, but I'll actually restart Visual Studio Code so to see if I can have an updated version. Let's take a look. Okay, so now let's take a look. Python version. Great, 3.107, excellent. And pip version, of course, also will be, yes, Python 3.10. Notice also comes from this app data, local program Python 10 lib site packages. The pip which we'll be using to install packages also is the latest one. So again, the Python you're using here should be also matching the Python you get on your command line. It will make your life easier. Again, you haven't encountered any problems, but it's better to have same version. Again, you probably have just single version, so you need to have these two commands give you something very similar to mine, maybe slightly older version. Again, you don't have to reinstall, right? But again, it's better if they match, right? Okay, so now we are ready to install some external libraries and then even to install some, create some virtual environments. So thank you for this first video.